I'm Carrie Case, and I'm your instructor, and I want to go ahead and just give a brief overview of the binders that I'm going to ask you guys to make for class. Now, this is one of those organizational strategies that I'm going to ask you to try after the end of the semester. If you decide you don't want to do any of this, totally up to you. But for this class, I want to make sure that you guys are well organized and kind of trying out some different strategies. So I have my syllabus right here, and then I have my course calendar. I also have some of my resources. The rest of them I've already put in here. This is my favorite binder. I like these tough binders because I can use them a couple different semesters. But I'll encourage you to use any binder that you think would be easy to carry or easy to deal with. And if that means a soft-sided binder, then just do that. But I love these. Any binders that have these pockets in it, I would encourage you to actually cut out, because that's actually the personality trait we're trying to defeat, is the stuffing. I'm a big stuffer. So I had to get over that really quickly, because you can't hand stuff into instructors that is folded or has coffee stains on it or anything like that. So you want to try to keep your stuff as good as possible. So we're still going to feed the stuffing tendency. We're just going to do sheet protectors. So you do need to have sheet protectors. I do encourage medium weight. You do need to have filler paper. You do need to have dividers. Typically 5 to 8 is a good number, and I have mine written on here, but a lot of times I use a label maker. Sheet protectors again, and then you always want to keep extra sheet protectors for stuffing, especially any of the work that you're doing for this class. Any of your writing process stuff goes in here. Nothing goes into the trash. It all goes into a sheet protector. So all of your comparison contrast stuff goes in here. All of your illustration stuff goes in here. Everything goes in here, so that you always have it there. We learn from mistakes. We don't learn from tossing things in the trash. If we wreck the bike, we don't toss the bike away and get a new bike. We figure out how not to wreck the bike twice. So the syllabus, I just printed out as a big packet. I did staple it, and I did put holes in it, and that's because it has mass like this. And so as the fact that it has mass, it's less likely to be torn out of the rings. So that I'm just going to stick in here. However, the course calendar can change. It also can pop out as soon as we punch holes in it. So what we're going to use for this is actually a sheet protector. So I'm going to take this sheet protector out of here, and you're going to notice that I printed off my course calendar single-sided. And I do this because it gives me a lot of different versatility to how I want to organize my information. It gives me more control. So my first page and my second page, you can actually put them in opposites, so that one is always right side up. I'm going to start with my first week. I'm going to put that with my, and remember that the sheet protectors open at the top, not at the bottom. So they open at the top, slide it right in. And now I can just look here, and then I can flip it over. If it has multiple pages, just stick the extra pages in the middle, and then just trade out the pages every time a week changes. Again, you want your, I usually have some note paper up here for the agendas. I always encourage you to write down the agendas. I now have my syllabus. I have my regular notes section, and that's if I take any miscellaneous notes, but they don't really go anywhere. So like plagiarism, for instance, that's something I would just do miscellaneous notes for. But then I have my different modules or my different topics in here. It just depends on however you want to design your binder. And that's the point, is for you to take ownership of the material. And then, and I have note paper in each of these sections. And then our resources, and these are the resources that you print off and carry as handouts, and these should be in sheet protectors. There's quite a few of them. I think currently I have like 17 or 18 sheets in here, and these are not temporary. You will use them in the future. But at this point, again, this is up to you as to how you organize them. So for instance, you'll notice that I have my coordination subordination chart front to back. However, if I really wanted to, I could actually, and this is a different style sheet protector, which many of you that know me know that that probably won't work. But for now, we're going to do it because we're going to demonstrate. But let's pretend that I actually would like to see these instead of front to back. I would like to put these front to front. Then I could put one in this way. Gotta use all your appendages and joints. And then I could put one in this way. And then that way, oops, did it the wrong way. And then that way, when I put it into the binder and I want to look at my coordination subordination charts, if I wanted to, I could easily just put it in here front to front, like this, so that I can look at both pages at the same time. So I do encourage you to print your stuff single-sided, so that you can have this kind of control. And then, of course, you'll notice like I had a paper, and so I just kind of stuffed it in here, especially because you can't punch holes in anything for college. So no holes, no folding, no earmarking, no tearing the corners. You want staples or honestly, whatever the instructor asks for, but you want to keep your stuff intact. But for instance, I have this illustration essay outline. So I'm going to stick with this in a sheet protector. But let's decide that I don't want it here in all of my resources. Let's decide that I actually want it here in my module 3, because that is where I'm writing my illustration essay. So even though it may have begun in my resources, now I'm going to move it to the section where it's going to help me. Same with my comparison contrast essay outline. I'm going to do the same thing there. And again, if it's single-sided, I can put them in front to back and put them in a single sheet protector, or I can put them in front to front so that I can have a full page spread. Either way works very well. The other cool thing is of course, you're not going to lose these, I mean, for the most part. And so let's pretend that I now want this in my, I don't know, let's pretend module 4 is comparison contrast, depending on what class you're in, it may be. And so I'm going to stick this in here, and then here I have my binder. So again, I just encourage you, especially if you're in an online class, this gives you an actual physical relationship with the class, which is hard with an online. It gives structure to the stuff that you're doing. It gives you a space to write notes, because you actually should be writing notes when you're watching lectures. It also takes care of that stuffing tendency, which I have. I am a clutter bug. I don't do this because I'm an organized person. I do this because I'm a disorganized person. And then again, at the end of the semester, if you decide that you don't like binders and the only thing you love out of here is the sheet protectors, then heck, take that with you to the next class and to the next semester, and you know, get what you can out of it, adapt it, and make it yours. So even though I give you the original expectation, ultimately this becomes yours. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks.